You're listening to Well, I Laughed, Part 3 of Movie Magic, Listener Finger Quotes.
Lydia, we can say this. This is going to be top of our show if you want. I was looking at couches and Lydia was like, Grant, now's the time. Like, when are you going to own like this, like a fun couch like this? And we were looking at basically a brown couch that was in the shape of a bean that like had the back like rising and falling at different levels.
Okay, yeah.
It was like very fun and stuff. And like very stylish. I don't mean fun like in a millennial work office way. I mean fun as in like, oh, how tasteful.
It
but
is cool.
What a statement. And so Lydia's like, when are you going to get a chance to like have a couch like this? And I go, well, based off my current life plan, kind of from now until the end of my life.
Yeah.
Like this is who I am and I think how I'm going to be living a lot of the next couple of years.
Yeah.
I think opportunities will come up. Instead, I went with a green velvet chase.
I've had, stop saying it like that. You're so embarrassing. I did have a friend who had like one of the stylish couches that I've always seen on like Instagram and stuff like that I'm like, oh, that's so like artsy and everything. Right. And it was the most uncomfortable couch I had ever sat on in my entire life. And I was like, okay, I will sacrifice style for comfort when it comes to the place I'm going to be napping for the rest of my days.
There's just, I think, underneath the cushions and everything, a lot of support beams kind of going every direction to keep it all in that way, and that's not comfortable. The hope is that this couch is stylish, but also is comfortable. The reviews seem positive, so we'll see.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thanks. So, yeah, home shopping's been good. Since it'll be well in the past when they hear about it.
True.
Do you want to go through final walkthrough tomorrow with me? It's at 4:30 at the location. At the intersection of time and place.
Maybe. I got a text right before I took a nap.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, I technically can. I was supposed to get drinks for someone's birthday, but I just got a text that they threw out their back.
Oh.
Taking a shower. Getting old is fun.
Are they my age or your age?
Your age.
Okay.
Older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I know this person?
Mm-hmm.
And it's their birthday?
Yeah. You don't know them. You don't know this one that well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Really funny.
Is it Kelsey or Edgar?
No, Kelsey is the one that planned drinks,
okay.
though.
Good to know. Good to know. So yeah, house hunting is kind of coming to an end. That's exciting. First batches of invites for a housewarming party went out. The list was really hard to do because I was trying to keep it at under 50.
Dude, Grant and Lydia putting together a party are so funny. It's so everything becomes so serious.
Yes, deadly serious.
Deadly serious. And they're like, I don't know. I think that we could wait to let's send out the first batch of invites and just see what happens. And then I think there's an Excel spreadsheet somewhere.
Yeah, Lydia's made an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Every day when she gets back from her shift at the bakery, we go through the RSVPs I've gotten. It's like I'm planning a wedding.
Oh my God.
For the record,
be insufferable.
There have been people then that like weren't part of the initial batch that I have invited. And it's not that I don't care about them as much. I need to make sure that's clear.
Yeah.
But it's like how do I say this in a kind way? You guys, if you're listening to this, you're with us. There's like certain combinations of people that make sense, right? Like I'm not going to invite one person from this part of my world without inviting like the 6 other people, right? But like of those like 6 people, one of them might actually be like a really close friend, right? So I'm going to wait till I make sure that like they're a yes. And then if
Before
they're going, well, then let's get everyone else going in there too. And so, it is a physical space. And so also trying to be like conscientious of that as well.
It's so funny because your brain works like a spreadsheet girl, but you present as Google Doc boy.
Ooh. No, I function like a Google Doc boy. Lydia insisted on the spreadsheet.
But I don't understand how the things that you just said don't equate to spreadsheet time.
It's just lists on Google Docs. It's just
so fucked
you
up.
have it titled and then bolded and underlined and then a list of people underneath. And then I don't usually track RSVPs. This is new because of my residency with Jacob and Lydia. Normally I just go 100% based off of vibes. And the thought is like, buy enough food that you like that you're willing to eat it the 3 days after the party. I never have that problem, but that's always like the fallback.
No, there's usually enough cheese.
Yeah, there is. Cheese will be cheaper this year, but that's okay. They'll understand.
Yeah.
Also, learned this mistake in my late 20s, early 30s. Don't have your party's signature cocktail be espresso martinis unless you want everyone there for days.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the espresso martini does nothing for my sleep schedule, so I was still out of there pretty early.
Since the theme is Devil Wears Prada-esque, I need to figure out what kind of punch I want to serve. I have to, of course, rewatch the movie so I know what punch they're serving in that one scene.
When are we rewatching the movie?
Yeah, that's a great question. Tomorrow I have a committee meeting. Wednesday I have open.
That's interesting. I think
because I know we're both booked on Thursday and Loki then kind of Friday.
I forgot we had something
right.
on Thursday.
And then that carries over to Saturday because my parents are still in town. And then Sunday, there's a decent chance I will want to be alone for the first time in a month, just like in general. Like
no, I don't think that's
animal.
necessary for you.
And then Monday, I think we're recording. So Tuesday next week, except that's, of course, trivia. So Wednesday of next week.
But you just said Wednesday of this week.
Right. Or Wednesday of next week.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, I can't believe you're moving in this weekend. That's wild.
Not for me. I have continued my silly little mental health walks around the local park every single day, and it's really good. But I've moved past the contemplative, my life is in enough change that I'm not am I stuck in place? I'm like, no, I'm very much not stuck in place. Today I listened to a podcast on rhetoric because that's my last class for grad school. Nice. And I do feel like I understand the concepts a lot better. And my midterm today went really well. So
good.
Thanks. I'm doing work on these walks now. So yeah.
Oh my God. Walks alone are never really relaxing. It's brain be braining. The number of times walking through Rhino where we used to live, where I would just randomly remember something on my to-do list that I desperately needed to get done.
No.
And then just have a minor panic attack and be like, okay, I literally can't do anything about that right now. I am several blocks away from home.
And other side of that coin, sometimes I'll go on these walks and I'll realize I haven't put my phone on do not disturb, D&D mode. And I'll get a little text message, and so my AirPods will read it.
To you,
And then my reaction is, and this is why these walks are important, just to step away from it all. And then I will go and put my phone on do not disturb, and then I'll continue on with my jolly little walk.
My favorite is when I'm researching for a story and I just listen to a podcast for research, and then because I did this for QAnon, where I then take notes on my notes app, but I do voice to text on my headphones. And then I know the people that don't have headphones or have headphones in and aren't actually listening to anything are like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
because the most recent one I did that on was Frank Sinatra.
On this topic, have I sent you that TikTok from Gabby Wimby?
No.
She's the Bachelorette, right? Who was on it's so good. I'm gonna play it for you.
I am very disconnected from the current Bachelorette season.
Listen, that's totally justifiable and good. Absolutely it is.
I go through phases. I'm more into Love is Blind now.
Gabby Wimby.
Wendy.
So this is from TikTok. It's from her podcast titled, I think it's Long-Winded. And she just kind of wears ridiculous sunglasses. I swear it sent this to you. Anyways, it's on the...
You may have, and I just didn't open it.
It's on the topic of taking a little mentee bee walk.
I was thinking, what did get me through those years without medication of being massively, clinically, derangedly depressed? It wasn't a hike. Everyone's like, go outside, go in nature. No, that made me feel worse. But it was the little things. A friend with a dinner with a friend who could make you laugh over a dumpling. That could get me through until the next day. A coworker that you like to talk shit with. That'll last you at least the 12 hours that you're grinding away. Looking at any other job on LinkedIn to get you out of that hellhole. There's hope.
Okay.
I hadn't sent that to you yet.
I mean, maybe you did, and then I didn't see it or something.
Back on D&D mode. Anyways, I always think about that too when I go on these little walks. I'm like, I'm glad these work for me, but these don't work for everybody, and that's okay.
So I enjoy a walk. The beauty of it is that I can't do anything about my to-do list.
Good. Okay. Yeah. How are you? Because you had to work today.
Yeah. I offered to take headshots for the people in my office. We have a quarterly meeting for our office on Thursday, and so that means everyone's going to be in.
Right.
And I noticed my boss's headshot on our Teams page is so old. And I was like, okay, I mean, I have all the equipment. Like I have cameras and lighting and everything. And so I sent him like a fake proposal kind of. And I was like, I have a proposal for you. I can do photography professionally, and all you have to do is approve my internal hours for editing and taking those photos.
Oh.
And well, I don't think he recognized what I was asking immediately, because he was like, how much would you charge like per person? And I was like, oh, no, like
my hourly rate.
Like, I just need you to be okay with me not charging a project. And he was like, oh, yeah, of course. And I was like,
oh shit, good for you.
Hell yeah, brother.
You grind, you have hustle.
Well, avoiding actual engineering tasks is really what I'm doing. But I took some test shots with our friend Sophie a couple weeks ago. And so I was actually editing those today. And I had to relearn Lightroom because I like never use it anymore. And that was fun. But
somewhat similarly, we'll go to nationals over the summer, and I found out that per our contract, support your unions. Per our contract, they have to pay us for our summer work. And so I talked to my school and I was like, hey, is there like, I'm sure, a structured day rate for this like week-long competition I will chaperone children to? And they responded back just with what the hourly rate was. And I was like,
that's not helpful. Are you going to pay 24 hours for a week?
Like, so that was my follow-up question. I was like, so am I just putting in literally 24/7 for that week? And they responded with, no, you don't count the time you're sleeping. So
so that's
things.
Still a lot of time.
Still a lot of time. 2, hope none of those kids need to go to the hospital in the middle of the night. They got to wait till 7 a.m. That's when I'm on the clock. Okay. No, I'll build a district. And then in other pieces of news, and I promise I will tell you in private.
Okay.
But I received some minorly shocking information about one person I've been getting dinner with recently. And then devastating news about the second one. I think I'm enjoying my reaction to the things that they're saying.
So now neither of them are on the table? Is that what's happening?
Actually, the shocking bit of information actually might move the needle more for that person. I'm like, oh, you're more interesting than I thought you were.
So the first one or the second one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I want to know.
But anyways, I was at dinner last night with one of them, and I was like, oh, like an hour and a half in, I'm like, oh no. I have only ever laughed at the jokes I tell after their story. And the hard thing is everyone in our group is so funny.
Yeah.
That like...
Well, a couple of them unintentionally. So. And
I have nothing to say on that.
Anyway.
So that's been life. Midterm, little walks. I keep carrying my book around and then putting my iPhone on top of my book.
But that's
and
so
not
aesthetic.
touching. It really is, especially with my phone case. And then not touching either. And I'm like, look at me finding balance.
What are you, on your computer?
I'm watching reality TV with Lydia. I've had to ask her to stop watching Temptation Island when I'm in the room because it like actually like fills me with anger and fury. Have you ever seen a single episode? But you understand the premise.
Yeah.
I'm just like, why do I want these men to be happy? Like, they are bad people. I don't want these men
Temptation
to
Island?
be.
Is that what it's called?
Couples who have already experienced infidelity and are thinking about ending it go on Temptation Island, where they're separated, surrounded by hotties of their choice, and then have to resist temptation for their relationship. Plot twist: they don't.
We have run out of reality TV show ideas. Like, I think we need to all kind of agree that.
Yeah.
It's at some point unethical, it feels like, to be doing this to these people.
That's what I turned to Jacob and Lydia for. And they go, why would this guy do this? And they go, which guy? And I go, the guy that clearly played organized baseball at some level at his life.
Yeah.
You just aren't born with a face like that without, I go, is he thinking he's going to have more like Instagram followers at the end of this?
Yes.
Like probably, but like you're legitimately not a good person. Like, I'm not rooting for you. Your conversations are really bad. This woman talked to you about how her parents' divorce in her teenage years affected her, and you responded with, yeah, I've always wanted to start a family. Like, it's like, it's driving me clinically insane to watch.
I can't take reality TV that seriously. I think part of it is like, and I do watch it. I love it. It's so fun to like get angry at these characters and everything, because I don't believe they're actual people.
Right.
They're all characters. But if you watch the conversations happen, like you can tell where the producers are cutting in and out. And there's so many moments where they'll play dramatic songs and it will appear like the two people that are talking to each other are just kind of looking at each other with like disgust. But no, sometimes they'll like mess up and you'll get like the side of profile of someone and they're talking. So they're just cutting bits and pieces to make their story fit together. And like once you realize that, you're like, oh, nothing's real. And then also catching when audio gets cut and recut. I think that's from editing the podcast.
That's 100% from editing the podcast.
Because even when I'm watching documentaries now, I'm like, that wasn't a sentence that they said. You spliced like 2 extra words in there to make that make sense.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. Crazy.
See, I think it would be really fun to, obviously not like a dating reality show, but I just think a reality show would be a lot of, it's just a game.
I want to go on Traders.
And I also want to go on Traders. What if we went on Traders together but didn't know?
They don't accept civilians, do they?
Sometimes they do.
Oh.
Also, there's The Mole, and Netflix has a new show called Secret Millionaire, which feels a lot like the other two. And that one's 100% just regular people. Before I left, Lydia and I were looking at casting instructions for those.
Perfect. Excellent. I'm down.
When we make our casting videos, it will be
in here,
in the studio.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Duh.
No, shoot. I was going to say, oh, yes, this was okay. So on Temptation Island, because of course I'm watching it, and these men are awful, and they're like not good conversationalists. And even when you have like a full uncut moment, one of my favorite things to do is watch the face of the women. Not the women who are there with their cheating boyfriends, but some of the temptation women, because those women are like very strategic about what they're trying to do. They are trying to get as much screen time as possible. Duh, it's a television show, right? Which means they are saying yes to basically any offer, any proposition. Hey, do you want to go on a date with me? Yes,
absolutely.
Right? They're like fully there, right? But you can kind of catch sometimes when the server restarts in their brain on their face, because they'll be like, or they'll take a sip, or they'll like look away for a second, and you'll see their face go. And there's just like, and it's
turn on and turn off.
It's very subtle, but you can tell in their brain they're elsewhere, and they're like, you're supposed to be flirting with him, so he'll ask you another date. Touch his chest, right? We have never talked about reality television this much, and that's because I have never watched this much reality television before I lived with Lydia.
I didn't know how much reality television Lydia actually watched, so.
Same. She's really quiet about the level of television she watches.
Yeah.
Reality television.
Yeah. I mean, now that I know how dramatic she is about Naked Attraction, it all makes sense. But I'm never going to get over any of her reactions.
When you're with Lydia and she has the remote in her hand, in 20 seconds, you could be watching Naked Attraction at any moment.
We were just watching March Madness, and while none of us were paying attention, suddenly Naked Attraction turned on, and everyone was like, where are we?
And Lydia's in the corner, like with the remote, like a smile. She goes, what?
Like, no one's paying.
I guess we could watch this real quick.
I don't know how that turned on.
The rest of Drew Barrymore? Did we want to watch this?
Made Casey very uncomfortable. Yes. He watched about less, or maybe 5-7 minutes of it or something. Super uncomfortable. Yes. I did then talk to him the next day. He was a lot more drunk than I thought he was. Which was just
he held it in well.
Yeah, no, he did, because all of his reactions to Naked Attraction were exactly as yeah. Hilarious. He was like, that's the worst show ever. And I'm like, yeah, but isn't it amazing?
No, it's the best show ever.
I don't know. The host definitely deserves a daytime Emmy.
Thank you. Yeah. And that's what I've always said that.
I was just repeating things that you had already said. So.
All right, that was a good little break.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yeah. I keep side note that now that we're back, I had a photo shoot this weekend.
Yeah, let me see your nails.
Yeah, they're just fake.
I know, but they're still nice.
I know they are nice. And I always get press on nails when I do photo shoots because I don't have the time or really the budget to get my nails professionally done every time I do that. And also I like the luxury of just being able to take them off whenever. But typing is so fucking hard. And I forgot because I spent so long like last year in fake nails that I forgot how fucking exhausting it is. And then I also got false eyelashes put on yesterday. And they weren't strip lashes. They were like individual little pieces. And so I was like, I wonder how these will hold up if I fall asleep. And so I fell asleep and they were fine until like literally. And I was like, great, I'm going to like do the podcast with them because I don't know, I'm egotistical or something. Yeah. And then I like rubbed just like this corner of my eye and just like the one.
Oh.
Just like it's not. What are you?
I'm afraid you're about to rip something off of your eyelid.
Just a false eyelash, but
Isn't that painful?
No,
Oh, okay.
I've told you it's eyelash glue. It's the same thing your students are using to bedazzle your entire head.
Someone wrote in saying maybe we should slow it down on the eyelash glue on my head, but more on that later.
Okay, well, it's fine on my eyeballs. And also it was ready to come off, so it came off, but now I'm uneven and now I feel weird.
Wait, hold on, look at me. I had not noticed at all.
But you can see it now, right?
Well, yeah, I can tell a little bit. Now I know where you ripped off part of your eyelashes.
But they were like just separate, and so it didn't hurt for any of you concerned out there like Grant apparently.
I mean, I was concerned. Sorry, I'm concerned about you.
Fine, I'm fine.
Also, movie magic, at least you still have your good eye, the one closer to the camera.
I did think about that immediately. I was like, oh well, I'll just never turn my head.
With Grant. Yeah. Okay, so this comes from our friend Ashley. Most esteemed podcast hosts. Excellent.
That's good. Good intro.
You're still a little burnt from last week.
Yeah, I am.
I almost wrote in with an episode to be like, hi, Maia and Grant.
Literally.
My name is Ashley, she, her. Yes, you can use my name. In fact, you already have since I had an episode read on prophetic dreams. Attached is a story about something interesting that happened to me several years ago. I'm not sure it really fits with any of the current themes. Maybe it could have worked with Law and Disorder. Anyways, y'all also see a video attached. The story will tell you when to watch it.
Okay.
So we have instructions.
Incredible.
And then the rest is just a nice little note. So we'll get into the story, right? Title. Title of the document is all right, everybody, buckle up. This is going to get a little wild. I don't know. It's too long for it to actually even still fill it all the way. And then how I accidentally helped apprehend a criminal is the header of this.
Oh, incredible. Well, that's movie magic.
There's a lot of really wonderful formatting. Sorry, I'm just in grad school right now. There's a lot of really great formatting up here at the top.
Well, good. What's her name?
Ashley,
good job. You impressed Grant, even though I'm not 100% sure that his master's degree is going to be real. I'm still not convinced he's not getting scammed.
No, I mean, my school district certainly thinks the credit's real, and that's all that matters, baby.
That's all that matters.
And you know what also matters? Danny can't say his private school grad program was better than my public school online grad program.
Without saying the quiet part out loud.
Right, because then I'll hit him with the elitism charge, and he hates to be hit with the elitism charge. I mean, I've certainly hit him with it before, but... All right, from Ashley. All right, everybody, buckle up. This is going to get a little wild. Just a PSA aside from myself, in parentheses. I've already outed myself on this podcast once. Why not continue? The names of everyone involved have been changed. However, I did choose names that accurately portray their vibes.
I love her. She is me.
This is a gateway drug into fan fiction.
Yeah. And we hope you send that to us too.
Yeah, 100%. We're curious. We're readers.
Not about us though. Don't. Nope. No. That's all.
After graduating college, I moved to a city in southern Indiana, right on the border with Kentucky. Because of its location, it's super easy to take day trips to places like St. Louis, Indianapolis, Louisville, etc. I think I even said Louisville correct, which is nice. While I lived there, I joined a Bible study for young women at a local church.
Fun. Just continue reading. Move on. We're supporting all of our listeners.
I know, but just the intense vibe coming from you right now.
Just have a lot of really fun memories of being bullied at youth group.
Oh, that's where I learned my craft. Center stage, baby.
I didn't learn that until public school choir.
Cry night, let's go. Okay.
No. Will you keep reading the fucking story?
I'm just like, oh, I just have to replace Jesus. Sorry, I have to replace my own internalized homosexual feelings with Jesus, and then I can tell the story. Amazing. She moves to the southern border of Indiana.
There it is.
She's in a local study group, Bible study group for young women at her local church. Nice. As is usual with groups like this, there was the group as a whole and then several smaller friend groups.
Okay.
There are around 6 of us who became really good friends and would hang out outside of Bible study.
Cute.
After about a year of being friends, we started floating the idea of taking a little weekend trip to one of the big cities around us, and we landed on Nashville.
Cute.
Now, it's important to know that I'm the most type A person to ever exist. For example, next May, like May of 2026, my besties from college and I are going on a 10-year anniversary trip to Colorado. Yes, absolutely.
That's so exciting.
Inspired by being fans of your podcast.
Shut the fuck up.
Shout out to Emily and Allie who have also submitted stories. That's really wonderful.
I think Emily was one of the ones that won our little giveaway.
Oh, I love that.
Because she mentioned this trip too.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
I was like, are there just a lot of girls trips that were inspired?
We deserve to be hired by the Colorado Board of Tourism.
Thank you.
And I've already made a 17-page document that will be our itinerary that is assigned roles for everyone and required trip meetings. The way we all are all on the same page with that way we're all on the same page with info and have scheduled time to talk about the trip. So yeah, very type A, very much a planner, very much a control freak.
Sorry, Ashley, it was actually a document you said, not a spreadsheet. So
I get it a little bit. I'm sure there'll be like little bookmarks and stuff that you can jump around with.
Have you played with the new tab feature on Google Docs?
No.
It's quite nice. Me and Aileen have been going ham at it. It's so fun. It's like literally a chapter, so you can't even like scroll to it. You have to like click to it on the side. It's so good. It's incredible. I love a tab. You know who does tabs really well? Spreadsheets.
Listen, I just want you to know I was letting her just kind of run herself tired.
I just love a spreadsheet.
Where we were going with that.
I love it. They're so fun.
Sorry, no, I got to stay on the story for a second. Two of the other girls who are going on the Nashville trip are the same, but the girl who is the most excited about this trip is not
type A.
Not type A.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Nat is a super sweet girl, but also very impulsive and not the most thorough planner. But she is so excited.
That is a good name for Nat.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that is a vibey.
I fully agree with that. Yeah, she did a good job with that first one.
Yeah.
So the other type A girls and I decided that as an act of self-growth, we were going to let her plan the trip. No, that
was a horrible idea. Why did you do that?
Actually, they don't rise to the occasion at all.
No, because they just won't do it. And then one of you, by the time she remembers to get around to it, you guys will have gotten so stressed that you will have just done it.
Correct, 100%. In your head quietly without having told anyone.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So we're going to let her plan the trip and specifically pick the accommodations. We also all had a lot going on at the time and didn't really have the time to plan a whole trip. In her defense, I do remember being shown the Airbnb that she picked.
Okay.
But it was really quickly after a hangout one night, and I didn't ask a lot of questions. Remember, self-growth. But that's getting ahead of myself. Nat decided that her friend Jessica was going to meet us in Nashville, which was fine with us. So the trip ended up being me, Nat, Sally, Rebecca, Cammie, Callie, and Jessica. Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 women.
Okay.
Sally, Rebecca, and I, all type A's, drove down together and met with everyone else at a hot chicken restaurant.
Incredible.
When we got there, Nat's friend Jessica told us that when she'd gotten to the Airbnb first, she'd had a hard time with the address. And then there was a side door that had been unlocked, but that she had locked up and everything was okay. None of us thought anything of it and enjoyed our hot chicken, getting to know her and just hanging outside of like where we were living at the time. After we ate, we started driving to the Airbnb. I was in the back seat and started noticing some things that I thought were odd. We were driving pretty far away from downtown, where we were going to spend most of our time. And there were a lot of gas stations and pawn shops and pretty much no streetlights. But I had never been to Nashville before, so I thought maybe that was just the vibe. We pull up to a building that was abandoned.
Nashville, known for its lack of streetlights.
Nashville, quiet southern city.
Yeah.
Nashville, do you know anything about this? I
don't think Nashville is a real city. I think it's actually made up.
Hot chicken, that must be like a local cuisine. The building had all glass in the front and had clearly been a storefront of some kind.
Oh, gosh.
But that storefront was now abandoned. We had been following Nat and the GPS, which tells us what you need to know about the type A people in the car. And Nat got out and looked confused and called Jessica, telling her we were there. Jessica told us the same thing happened to her and explained where we needed to go instead. So we turn around. At this point, the type A people are
concerned,
unhappy.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So when we pull up to a 1-story cinder block building painted blue with a frosted glass door, I'm convinced that shit is going to hit the fan. Sally, who is the definition of sunshine, is trying to make it all okay, talking about how this is all still going to be a great trip. She starts.
We all need a Sally.
She starts recording as we walk in. This is where the video attached to my email comes into play. Do you watch it now? Is that instructions to watch it now?
Yeah.
Now, since there are people in this video besides me, and it therefore cannot be shared publicly, I would love for one of my esteemed hosts to describe what can be seen in the video. I'm the girl in the brown jacket, and this was in fact the second sketchy Airbnb I had stayed in that month, and that's another story for another time. Do
you want me to?
Yeah, I'm just looking at what's in the italics. Okay.
Okay.
Turn on the volume. I think I have it.
Oh. Okay, so they're opening a
Can you kindergarten tilted a little bit?
kind of sketchy teacher or kind of sketchy spot. It has like concrete floors.
Huge ping pong table
And
in the
it's just
center.
like it's just like a garage. Like there are no dividing walls or anything, but everything is concrete.
Oh my God.
There is a large ping pong table that is also maybe serving as a dining room table. I'm not sure.
That's 100% is.
And then there's like just random couches. Oh, there's
Is
a
that
pinball table.
an indoor grill?
Oh my God, wait, I think so. It's a smoker? Okay, there's along the wall of the door, there's like a roll-up desk, like one of those older ones, and then like a round table, and then randomly a couch pointed at nothing.
Store used to sell furniture?
I'm thinking that this was a thrift store and they went on like a clearance sale and this was the stuff that they didn't sell.
Correct.
And they were like, well, it's an Airbnb now. There's a shuffleboard table maybe in the back and also a foosball. And there's also air hockey pool. I can't.
You
tell.
keep hearing glass breaking in the background.
Yeah. And then there's wait, do you see that? There's bar chairs facing nothing. Just like facing this
I
like
have
table.
walked into, especially in my college years, I have walked into some houses.
Oh yeah.
But this
is a college house.
Yes.
Which I would not pay for on Airbnb.
Especially in Nashville.
Yeah. It looks like a school. Oh, they all look.
They do not look excited.
Oh, Ashley, you are unhappy. Our dear friend Ashley has her bag on one shoulder, is holding what I assume to be a lot of blankets, and just is not moving. She is like head tilt, dead-eyed, deadpan stare at the camera. Oh, that kitchen is fine.
Oh, great.
Ah, is that a bed? In the kitchen?
In the kitchen? I want to know, having gone on my brother's bachelor trip, I do actually think there are Airbnb groups that go to Nashville that would be A, totally fine with that place, and B, stoked at the level of gaming currently involved.
That's fair.
From Ashley herself, just in case the video doesn't play, here's what it was like. You go through the glass door, huge room, pool tables, air hockey, foosball, ping pong. Basically, if it's like a tabletop game, it's there. A giant TV with a couch in front of it, not a bed in sight. Then you take a left into the kitchen, and there's a bed tucked into the corner behind the door. What you can't see in the video is a closet that has been converted into a bathroom and a second room where a queen-size bunk beds and a side door are leading to somewhere. Not totally sure. I never went out there.
Oh, Ashley. That's the first place you check. What? Was it locked?
Worst case scenario.
I don't like the way that you kept flipping.
I don't know where I'm landing, but pretty good chance that you're going to find some broken glass on the floor. And once you found that, you've really hit like the peak of the evening, right? You know what's about to happen next is like what you've been building up for. Oh, don't step here, guys. There's glass broken and no one's taking care of it. This must be the place.
I hate everything that you just said, actually.
Because of how much you recognize your own story in it?
No, because I never once have looked at broken glass and been like, this is the beginning of a great night.
No, I have looked at broken glass though and been like, oh, I'm in the midst of a great night and we're about to start the third act.
You know what has always been a great night for me? When my friend looks at me at a building of unnamed affiliation and goes, that building would look incredible on fire.
I was doing research on Elf. I don't know what you want from me. And
that was just an insane thing to say.
You didn't know that's what my story was, so that's why it felt insane to you.
I stand by that. That was also the night I thought sprinklers were a snake, so I don't have a lot of room to stand on. Anyway, we have a friend.
Oh God. And then, no, it's okay. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Now you may be thinking, Ashley, this is a crazy thing to happen. This is the end of the story, right? No, friends, this is the rising action.
Oh, God.
So we enter the Airbnb and we start getting settled. I was supposed to stay on a cot in the kitchen. I mean, there was already a bed in the kitchen, so why not add another? So they're going to set up a second bed in the kitchen.
What?
But since I found the sheets for said cot in a kitchen drawer, unfolded with black specks on them, I opted for the air mattress.
Yeah.
I had packed in the back of Rebecca's car. You know, just in case.
Yeah, good job.
So that's very type A and very good.
So type A.
I've had friends fly to ski trips before with Airbnb with air mattresses in their checked luggage.
Yeah.
Because they are going to put too many people in that ski lodge.
No ski lodge ever has enough beds. I don't know how that always manages to happen.
After we're settled in and tried playing a few of the games that were in the main room of what we determined was a converted laundromat, we settled down to watch a movie. Now, Nat is not super happy about this. She wanted to go dancing. So we sent her and Jessica into downtown Nashville to have what they considered a good time.
What they considered.
That's such a you thing.
Me. That's like, okay, well, you go and have your fun. I'll go. Yeah.
It's like you wrote it. I feel like you have said that to me before.
Ashley and I are very similar. I'm increasingly getting Lydia on my side too. I want you to know.
You've looked at me before and said, "You proud of that?" Which you know is fucked up because that's things I say to my students all the time.
I know. And sometimes you have to say it in a mirror.
So we sent Nat and Jessica into downtown Nashville to have what they considered a good time, while the rest of us tried to get comfy in this Airbnb. After the movie ended, we moved into the kitchen and sat on the bed and air mattress that were now in there. I cannot stress enough that we are in the kitchen.
Yeah.
By this point, it's just after 1 a.m. So we're having a lot of conversations and giggling, typical sleepover stuff.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love a sleepover moment.
As we're all talking, all of a sudden, there is a loud banging on the side of the door. We all scream, as you do, and immediately get quiet. Then there is another softer knocking at the door.
No.
We have to pause here for a second so I can share an important bit of backstory.
Oh, God.
I grew up in a suburb of the fourth largest city in the country, and as a result, I do not scare easily. Callie is from San Diego. She does not scare easily. Everyone else on this trip is from a small town in either Indiana or Illinois. Like there's one light kind of small town.
Right.
So while Callie and I are a little unnerved, the others are freaking out.
Oh.
Cammie immediately is like, maybe it's Nat and Jessica. I immediately shot down that idea. They had a key to the Airbnb with them at the bar they went to. Even if this was a practical joke, it would be over by now. But Cammie isn't convinced. So she calls Nat. But before Cammie can even speak, I can hear the sound of loud country western music
so they're not
coming
outside.
from her phone. So it's loud that it's so loud that when she does speak, Nat can't even hear her. Clearly, they're not outside the door.
Yeah.
Okay, are you watching The Residence on Netflix right now?
I don't know how you have so much time to watch these shows. I truly
2 words.
Yeah.
Spring.
Break. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What is The Residence about?
It's like a murder mystery written by Shonda Rhimes. It's giving that right now. Yeah, it's really good. Would recommend.
Yeah.
At this point, Callie decides to call the police because the other girls are nervous enough that it's worth having them come out and check on us. She dials 911 and starts talking to the dispatcher, telling her where we are and what happened. The dispatcher tells her there's already an officer in your parking lot.
What? Why?
I look out.
Huh?
And there is not but like, okay. And the dispatcher tells her to hang up. At this point, even I'm getting a little weirded out. Why were the cops already there, allegedly, before we called? Cammy thinks we should open the door because maybe the police officer was the one banging on the side door.
No.
Again, I shoot this down because even if it was, we do not open the door to unannounced police officers.
Yes. Know your rights.
We waited what felt like 15 minutes and no police officer showed up. We looked up later. It was 5. We waited 5 minutes.
That is so classic. I do that every time. Yeah.
And then called 911 again. While Callie's on the phone with a different dispatcher, Rebecca starts freaking out, demanding to stay somewhere else, crying hysterically, freaking out. I look out the kitchen window and see a cop car pull up. And then another.
No.
And then another.
No.
And then another. And then another.
What the fuck?
And then another.
What?
And then a helicopter flies overhead.
Oh my God. Poor Rebecca.
There are now not 1, 2, 3, 4, but 6 cop cars in our parking lot. Yes, I said parking lot, not driveway. Again, converted laundromat. And a helicopter flying overhead. The girls are losing it. And honestly, I'm a little panicked because clearly something is going on.
Yeah, they don't send 6 cops for nothing.
And a helicopter.
Yeah,
the helicopter
is actually really big.
We wait, again, what feels like forever, and no police officers come to the door. No one comes, so I take matters into my own hands, pull on my coat and boots, and go out the front door. I get that. I think that's me at a certain point. I'm like, I'm just going to go talk to him. I'm going to figure out what's going on.
You and Lydia are very similar. And the closer I get to you guys, the less I become that person, you know? Like, if you and Lydia are having a good time, I'll do it, you know? But I feel like mom and dad are here.
No, that's the beautiful thing about long-term friendships is there's whole aspects of your personality you can just let wither and die.
Yeah.
Like, I have never once talked to a customer service person. That's what Lydia does.
Yeah. Casey and I had to have a conversation where he was like, you can try harder to, like, fix things that are broken. Like, you could Google things. And I'm like, Google? A problem when I have a handyman living in the house. It's so hard to find good help these days.
You should just offer to fix it 77% of the way.
No.
Okay. Where was I? Pull on my boots, go out the front door. 4 of the cruisers have their lights pointed at our front door as I open the door and look out with a face that says, "The hell are y'all doing?" Finally, 2 police officers get out. One of them walks straight past me. The other comes inside. He asks me if there are any other doors to the building, and I tell him about the side door.
Oh my God.
And walk there with him.
Oh my God.
Past the air mattresses that are now deflating because we are not staying the night.
Yeah.
They're fully backing up.
Like, let's get this shit out of here.
The hygiene bags are having things dropped into them. As he goes to the door, he says, "Lock this door behind me and don't open it for anyone else." At this point, it's like 2 a.m. and we're all done with this Airbnb and are looking for other places to stay. Cammie has called Nat and told her to come home, and we're trying to figure out what to do if we're not going to stay there. I have no idea how long the police officer was gone at that point. There was no concept of time.
Yeah.
But finally, he comes back, and the first thing he says is, "Okay, now I can tell you what's going on." He goes on to explain that 0.6 miles from where we are staying, there's a juvenile correction facility.
Oh.
Earlier that day, someone had escaped from there, and they had been able to locate that, and they had been unable to locate that person until we called. Apparently, this escaped person had knocked on our door trying to get us to let them in. And when we called the police, they were able to locate the person and take them back. Callie asked, "Does this kind of thing happen a lot around here? Should we go stay somewhere else?"
Yeah.
The police officer said this was not common and that he had never responded to a call in this area before, but that he was surprised that this building was an Airbnb.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were too. We ended up staying the night because it was like 3 a.m. by the time everything was over.
Yeah.
It's a hard time to find a place to stay.
Find a hotel. Yeah.
Been there, done that. I know exactly.
Yeah.
The last bit of the drama is when Nat and Jessica got home. Apparently, one of the cops stayed in our parking lot for a while, and when Nat got home, she hopped out of the car and went right up to him and asked what was going on. He said, "Well, I guess your friends got a little scared." "Yes, sir, indeed.
What?
We did. Thanks for nothing. I mean, it's funny now."
Yeah, what? I guess your friends got a little scared. Sir, you guys brought 6 cop cars and a helicopter.
Also, what happened was a person who escaped a correctional facility tried to enter the Airbnb you guys are staying in, and then your friends helped us catch them. That's not... They got a little scared.
Yeah, because they were rightfully scared.
Right.
I'm scared when anyone knocks on my door, even if I'm expecting them.
So that's the story of how... Right, no, I mean... No, what like when someone knocks on my door, I'm not answering it.
No, my friends will let themselves in.
Right, exactly.
Or no to text me because I can't. I don't.
I'm not answering the door.
Yeah.
Famously,
I'm so happy that I have
podcast,
a Ring doorbell now.
not...
The number of times I'll open the Ring doorbell when the doorbell gets rung or the door gets knocked, and Casey will just go down and answer it. I'm like, what are you doing? We have this feature for a reason. We can see who's there. And I'll be like about to like open up the like voice feature on the doorbell as I'm like laying upstairs in bed. That's like, we're not interested. And then Casey will go out there and like talk to him because he's like a kind person and all of that. But I'm like...
Also known as a sucker in the door-to-door salesman world.
Casey I'm the sucker. Yeah. That's why I really can't go talk to them.
So that's the story of how I one time helped catch a, quote, criminal. Hoped you enjoyed it. Thanks for being my favorite podcast, especially the listener episodes. Y'all are bringing a lot of joy to my life through your show, and I look forward to it every week. XOXO, Ashley.
Thanks so much, Ashley.
So my question for you, a what would you do situation?
Just get really quiet. I don't think I would have thought to call the cops. I'm not going to lie to you.
Okay. I also don't think I would have thought to call the cops. But I don't know. I don't know what the vibe of that place was. Like, I think if you're in the space, then like maybe we should call the cops. But that wasn't my...
No, that wasn't my first... I definitely wouldn't have opened the door. I would have maybe like seen if there's a way that we can get a window or something to like see who's out there without actually seeing, but not seeing because of my curiosity, not because I'm going to open the door if they look nice, you know?
My question is this.
Yeah.
And I recognize that you and I are going to have different reactions to this probably.
Good. I'm glad that you've recognized the one difference that we seriously have.
You're out clubbing. Your friends call you with what's going on. Mm-hmm. Are you leaving the club to go back?
Well, it was 2 a.m. Aren't clubs closing at that point anyway?
Not necessarily. Not in Nashville.
Oh. Yeah, I am. Well, it depends on how drunk I am. Mm-hmm. If I'm coherent. If there's somebody home, then yeah, I'm going home. But I do feel like that would have sobered me up a little bit.
I kind of actually already know that I'm like, oh, and the police are there?
Great, bye.
Well, it doesn't sound like I would really add a lot. Just text me the new address, okay?
I would
Bye.
be so mad at you.
I know you would.
I would like that would be the end of our friendship.
But why? The cops are there. You guys are gonna pick a place to stay. What am I gonna do? Be drunk?
You want us
as
to
we
pack
move?
up your shit?
I doubt I'm that unpacked if it's the first night.
You're a girl in this scenario, so you are pretty unpacked.
Okay.
You at least have all of your makeup spread out over the counter.
But you understand my line of thinking, right? Where it's like, y'all are going to already figure out where to go.
And drinking is more important to me than the stability of my friendships.
It's not about the stability of my friendship. You guys decided to stay at home and now you're just operating a logistical issue. And I'm out having my girls' night in Nashville.
With one other girl.
Yeah, that's what makes it plural.
I would call Lydia then, because she's probably the one you dragged out with you, or maybe Jacob. I would call them, and because they both have a sense of morality.
I don't think you really know Jacob and Lydia. I love them. I love them. Two of the most uncompromising people you might know.
I know, which is why I know for a fact, because they've told us stories of when they've had to talk to cops for various reasons. They're never like, they just have a lot of small businesses. That's all. But I know that they take that kind of stuff seriously.
Here's a story that I'm not proud of. I'm saying this now. I'm not proud of this. I think it's a little clever. So I guess in that way, I'm a little proud of it. But I think I know in my soul, like my answer right now. Yeah. 2 years ago after my birthday or pride party, I forget which annual party it was, but we're downtown because we've all now gone from my house to second location. Mm-hmm. And we get there and my sober friend, let's call her Ashley.
Okay.
My sober friend gets us there. And as we get out of her car and we're walking to the bar, we're like the second of 3 cars to show up. So the party's already there. We're there. And we're like, where's the third caller? Oh, I have a phone call. Hello? Oh, Maia left all of her stuff in my house that's now totally locked, and she needs it to get home to her, like, family and children. So you need someone to return with the keys? Absolutely. Okay, cool, sweet. Hang up the phone.
Give key to Ashley. Yeah, I know it.
Ashley goes, do you need me to drive us back to your house? And I looked at her and I said, I don't think we both need to go. It's just a pair of keys.
Okay, that is different, though. That is very different. Because in this situation that we're talking about, some of her friends were like broke down panic crying, right? That's why I think if you don't come back, you're the asshole. Because it's like, hey, Rebecca is having a moment. Yeah, has had a moment. We've all like been super panicked for the last like 3 hours straight. Like, can you come home so that we can go? Like, and if you at that point say, well, I don't know if there's point for me being there, I would, babe, podcast over.
We're back.
Grant had to tell me a story. Well, okay, before we get into my story, oh shit, what was I going to say? Fuck. Great marketing. Because Grant just told me a story and I was like, that move was incredible marketing. Casey's favorite artist at the moment, like music artist, is Oliver Hazard. And if you like kind of indie folk kind of music, you should check them out. They're great. They're from Ohio. It's just like 3 guys, and the stuff that they produce is actually really cool. But on their stage, they always keep all of these little like small lamps that are like maybe like 6 inches high or something like that all across their stage. And they always explain it like this, that they when they were first picking up traction, kind of, it was like surrounding the time of COVID. And they just ended up playing a lot of living rooms, and they played a ton of living rooms. And so they always keep
as in like private parties?
Yeah, kind of, or something like that. And they brought the little lamps back to remind them of where they came from, which I think is very sweet. But they have this little tiny, tiny lamp that just sits on the pianist's keyboard. And we have all dubbed it the tiny lamp. We as in Oliver Hazard fans. And now we just think about the tiny lamp all the time. And we saw them at Larimer Lounge about a year ago from like now. And someone stole the tiny lamp. Heinous. And so they posted on their social media. The guy's friend who ratted him out like messaged Oliver Hazard and was like, it was my friend that did it. And they were like, okay, just tell him to like, if they can send it back to this like location, whatever, like no harm, no foul. I don't think they ever got it back. They did get a replacement, but now they're like, if you guys want it so bad, like we'll make a punch card. And so if you come, and we'll punch the punch card for every concert you come to. And once you come to 10 concerts, we'll give you a tiny lamp.
So do you guys have a tiny lamp?
No, we're at 4 concerts right now.
I was going to say, how close are you guys to a tiny lamp?
No, I'm very excited about that tiny lamp. Apparently, it's literally like this big, maybe. Right. And when they ordered it, I guess they thought it was like full size, like a big lamp.
Who hasn't done that?
Yeah. At least you're like, this is a great deal. And then you don't think about why it's a great deal. But yeah, phenomenal marketing on their part. Yeah.
And explains why you guys are seeing them twice in like 3 days. I mean, it's great music too.
So it is good music. I also just want to like support them because they're very sweet and they do a lot of good stuff. But yeah. Anyway, if you're interested, apparently they live in such a small town in Ohio that they've created their own music festival and they've humbly named it the Oliver Hazard Days or something like that. And now I'm tempted to travel to Ohio.
Yeah, why not?
I don't know. Make that part of our tour. There. Yeah, absolutely. We do.
Cheese caves, and then just cheese, and then Ohio,
and then our dear friend Aileen. Okay, so this is from our friend Jen. You'll remember several stories, but I think it was maybe Rumor Has It that I read a story where one of our listeners who's a genealogist thought that she was related to Napoleon.
Right.
I almost said dynamite after that. And I was like, nope, Maia, that's wrong. But this one is called When Rumor Has It I'm Also, quote, related to Napoleon.
Good.
Okay. Dear Grant and Maia, my name is Jen, she, her, and you, of course, don't have to read this anywhere, but if you do, it's okay to use my name. And honestly, some people who know me deserve the jump scare.
Good.
Thank you for everything y'all do. Listening honestly feels like hanging out with my besties and catching up every episode, especially the Patreon ones. Thank you for being a Patreon, by the way. I apologize so very much in advance if this is far too stream of conscious or contains too many parentheticals. That's how all of our notes are written.
Correct.
So we'll be fine.
It actually helps us read it easier because it allows us to have the breaks that we're going to force anyways.
Exactly. Yeah. So I normally listen at my desk job, parentheses, those 3-hour-long episodes get me through. I'm sorry. The next story I do will definitely be 3 hours. Next week's, I'm hoping.
Oh, really?
I'm hoping.
Okay.
Well, I have about 6 hours of documentary as content. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
As in Mondays?
Yeah.
Oh, today's Monday. So Monday.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
next
Cool.
Monday. Yeah.
That was Friday.
But have been lagging behind since we're busy. A recent trip out of state, parentheses, Hades Towns tickets.
Nice.
Yes. Had me catching up. By the way, y'all, Hades Town, the two the two actors that are on the original cast recording of Hades Town, like on Spotify, Eva and what's his name? Reeve. Just got engaged for real
cute.
in real life in London after they were shooting in West End. And I was like, and then I was looking through comments and, do you know the story of Orpheus and Eurydice?
If he doesn't turn around, they'll both be free.
Yeah, they'll both be, and he does. And it's a tragedy. But I guess previously in other versions of Hades Town, on like main actors' last shows, they will rewrite the end so that he gets to leave with Eurydice.
Oh,
and that just really fucked me up for a little bit.
You're in it.
I'm in it. And then people in the comments were like, when the alternate universe where Orpheus doesn't turn around, and it's like,
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this a deserved more time trope?
This is he loved her so much that he had to look back. And then I've gotten so deep into this. Okay. There's people online that are like, if you love her, you wouldn't have turned around. And someone was like, you've never been loved or loved someone so much that you had to turn around. And that also fucked me up a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there was like moments where they were like, was Eurydice sad, like when she realized that she couldn't stay with Orpheus? And it was like, no, because she knew she was loved. And that was like part of like a script or something. And I was just like, oh, okay. That's fine.
I love you experiencing theater.
I love theater so much. If I could just live in New York City and not really deal with the social aspect of that, because I don't think I could handle that, but just watch shows on Broadway, I would 100%. I'm like trying to decide what shows I should.
If I could live like Patti LuPone, I would.
Yeah, Patti LuPone lives the life I want, except she performs more than I probably would end up performing.
Right.
You know. But also the guy who was just playing Orpheus, Jordan Fisher, who's also a Disney star, by the way, is now playing the main male lead in Moulin Rouge. And the fact that we're going to get clips of him singing Roxanne, I'm sorry, I'm absolutely nerding out right now.
Absolutely.
I'm going to absolutely die. His voice is incredible. Anyway, okay, I was like about to tell you to keep reading the story, and then I realized it was me.
It was you and had just started.
Yeah. Okay, so she got Hades Town tickets. Right, that's where we were.
We actually aren't even in the story. We're still like in the introduction. You're the preface.
Yep. Okay, so she's catching up. Our friend Jen is still catching up. Imagine the volume of that audible gasp when I heard the exact story I've been told about allegedly being related to Napoleon. My mom's family is neon white. We know some of those.
Yeah, we do.
And dad's family was born and raised in the Philippines. So just very different. Through my parents' divorce and my family's melodramatics, parentheses, per usual, I never got an honest chance to know them growing up. But many decades ago, I was invited to attend a family reunion in a, parentheses, distant auntie's rich house in the Calabasas Hills. Fucking incredible. Get it if you can.
Absolutely.
I met so many relatives I've only heard about in stories and some I hadn't. And it was a beautiful day at the swankiest property I'll ever set my target budget ass in. I feel that.
That's
Jen.
a relatable budget range.
One of the moments that sticks out loudly is that the whiter side of the family party brought this massive Pokemon card collection-sized 3-ring binder of supposed family history. Some of the material included claims about a haunted family castle in Northumberland, a grave robber who sold corpses to medical students, and relations to Napoleon Bonaparte.
Okay.
Someone's lying somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of those, at least 2 of those isn't true.
It's the castle.
Yeah, honestly.
It's a stone house.
The recent reader story from Katie sounds nearly identical to theirs. That were also related through Jerome Bonaparte's children and Elizabeth Patterson. A casual amount of digging found a side of my dad's family that has a fair amount of French background, but
the Filipino side? Interesting.
No, mom is neon white.
Okay.
Dad is from Philippines.
The Philippines.
Maybe I read that wrong.
So dad's side
dad's side.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Where was I? Dad's side. Yeah, dad's side has a fair amount of French background. Was there like colonizers?
I mean, Spanish. There is a chance that like he's not Filipino. He's like Caucasian or whatever, and they were born there for like missionary reasons or whatever. But interesting.
It could also be like Filipino, and there's like a touch of French.
I started asking the question to be like, wait, did I miss something?
No,
but
no.
Okay, we're on the same
page. I also
page.
forgot about
Cool.
that. Okay. And I honestly can't verify any of it stems from Baltimore. Okay. A casual amount of digging found a side of my dad's family that had a fair amount of French background, but I honestly can't verify any of it stems from Baltimore, parentheses, and I no longer have the ancestry account to sort through those family tree branches. Girl, same. Yeah. I have an ancestry account, and every 3 months I just hit pause for 3 months because Lord knows I don't have the time anymore to be doing that kind of digging. Okay, thank y'all so much for reading her story. It's literally the first time I've heard the same tales, parentheses, with whatever creative license was spun from that binder over the years, who's to say, told me about my family through someone else's voice. Anyway, I hope everyone's week whenever this is seen are great and that the only awesome things happened to y'all today included our pictures from my family event. I'm the one in the bunny shirt next to my dad. Many hearts. Jen. Sidebar, I would have loved to have been related to Jean Lafitte, though. I grew up in Southwest Louisiana, and he's always been a personal hero. His blacksmith shop is now a famous bar in New Orleans, and their purple daiquiris have never failed me. That sounds like an incredible evening.
Absolutely.
I would be down for that. P.S. The bit about the grave robber did check out. And he actually started his own town out west and changed his name, thus setting the curve for many genealogy rabbit holes.
Wait, that's awesome.
These are the pictures. She says she's in a bunny shirt. Yeah, that is wild.
I want to know what age, like what year this photo was taken.
It feels like 2010s.
There's just 2 outfit choices. A lot of dresses with jeans that tells you
like early 2010s, like 2012 is my guess.
2009 to 2013, it feels like right. 2012,
right.
Absolutely. Yeah. My girlfriends went out to the club in ripped jeans, blouser, dress, and then huge wrestling belt buckle.
Big wrestling.
And it needs to be north of the belly button.
Wait. Okay. I did a photo shoot this weekend, right? And it's always so fun at the beginning because you're in hair and makeup for like up to like 4 hours before the shoot actually starts. And the makeup artist that we had, I cannot remember her name, but she was so funny. And she showed us this picture. She was like, "Are big belts still in?" And we were like, I don't know. She was a bigger gal, but it was like, I wanted to see, and so I had this like jumper, and I put this belt over it, and I tried it on. I sent a picture to my friend, and she went,
"Oh no,
you look like Mrs. Trunchbull." And she showed it, and we were all like, like, you kind of do.
It's a good read.
She was like very like chill about it. Like she was like, yeah, it was a bad look, but it was
all of these
so
items
funny.
can work individually. They just don't sing well as a chorus.
And like everybody's different, and that's good and great.
Right.
But sometimes, certain outfits are meant for certain body types. My favorite TikTok trend to date is still is that a good outfit, or is she just skinny?
Oh.
Have you seen that?
No,
it's
but
like,
I immediately know what you're talking
regular
about.
sized girls putting on Pinterest outfits. And I mean, we do have winners, to be fair, to each their own, but we have a lot of losers.
I'm I was gonna side tangent into a whole informative topic I want to get to do next year.
We have time.
Class. Well, it's just like
we're in between stories. This is
so true.
Actually the time to do it. Yeah.
So you've heard about fast food.
Yes.
And you've heard about fast fashion.
Yes.
So something that's really interesting right now is that like food is now kind of gaining this like luxury label to it.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
like cronuts, things like that. These
People
like
being
trend
foodies,
foods, right?
yeah.
Foodies. It's definitely having a moment in time. Like mukbang videos, right? Where like the consumption of food is the content itself and things like that. And a closer examination around like the ways that both deconstructs elitist systems in this country and reinforces other things, right? Because like quality food has always been a luxury, right? And now that luxury just carries a different face. I think that's really interesting. But the question is there 5 minutes of that or is there 10 minutes of that, you know? Because like you have leather brands like Loewe who have like bags and stuff, and then they will do like a cross promotion with like a food item to like, I had to go get the Loewe cookie from Milk Bar and it tastes like every other cookie I've ever had, you know, but
yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
I do think they're
I told you it wasn't great content. It just reminded me of
there can be 10 minutes of that for sure.
I think there's probably more likely 5 minutes though, which would make it an expository.
5 good minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Long time caller, first time listener.
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
All right. This next one, a lesson learned listener story. I love alliteration.
Okay.
Hi, Maia and Grant.
Yes!
Yeah.
Finally!
I picked sides.
Fuck yeah. What's their name?
Cedar.
Cedar, excellent.
They, them pronouns.
Okay, they, them.
Oh, and here's a great note. We can use their name and pronouns.
That's good. Cedar, you're my new favorite, especially after the last couple, or at least last week.
You had a tough row of it for a while because everyone I read was like, hi, androgynous group of people
and
that I love.
And everyone that I was, hey, Grant,
hey,
Maia.
light of light, Grant, and the woman he hangs out with.
And that other one, shut up, by the way.
So this is also should be your reminder that you should definitely write in. We're excited to get to some of these stories, but some of these stories were not written for Movie Magic. And so we are always here for more stories.
And listener stories are just fun.
I love listener stories. Our friend Cedar has a vigilante vengeance story for us.
Goodness.
I wish it was more of a recent theme, but what can I do? Well, it's not going to disqualify you today, Cedar.
No, it won't.
And it starts with a question. What is the most effective way to handle someone who doesn't respect boundaries?
Punch him in the throat. Just kidding.
Correct.
Oh, seriously?
Lie to them.
Oh, okay. So me and Cedar are similar on a lot of ways.
TBD as to which person Cedar is more like. However, it is clear that Cedar is in the second largest demographic for us.
Yeah.
Several years ago, I had a coworker, let's call him Steve, who would try to play pranks, but they just came off weird and inappropriate.
We've all had one of those.
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
And Steve is older, guaranteed.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean,
no,
Cedar
that's how you get the
yet,
weird vibes. Yeah.
He had a particular habit of getting onto other coworkers' computers when he found they had left their computers unlocked and sending emails on their behalf.
And this is why all of those company internet safety trainings tell you to lock your computer before you walk away from your desk.
2FA, are you who you are? Prove you're not a robot. I'm texting you right now. Pick up.
Not even that. It's like, want to go fill your water bottle? Log out. He's the reason why.
Usually it was some form of telling their boss that they quit. But once he took it in a weird direction. Telling your boss, I quit this job is a weird direction. I don't know about you, listener. I need my job to pay for my lifestyle, or at least start to cover my lifestyle.
That's also just such an awkward conversation to then have that I feel like Steve doesn't actually get to benefit from in any way.
Right, exactly.
That's sociopathic.
Right. If you were Steve, what email would you send?
What email would I send? I would send an obvious joke email to like one of my closer friends from like Sophie's account. That's like, we're sending you to Mississippi for the foreseeable future.
That's so funny. I am hopping onto your computer.
Okay.
And I am sending out an email saying, hey, everyone, Grant just had some really good news, but he doesn't want to talk about it.
Oh, my
God.
God.
I think it'd be fun if we all brought cake in tomorrow. And then there's a lot of cake. Be mad.
I can't.
Like, you're definitely mad at the me getting praise I don't deserve, but it's made up for with the cake.
It's because, of course, out of all of the things you could have done to benefit yourself, you had to make it like a public event where you also get food.
We get food.
Okay.
You're missing the nosotros of it all.
You know, the best part, this is completely unrelated, actually, but very quick. If you ever really want to prank someone who's a little socially awkward and you're going to dinner with them, tell the restaurant it's their birthday.
So mean.
Yeah, it's so funny though. I did it to my cousin and I was half expecting him like on the spot when the waiter was there. He was like, are we celebrating anything tonight? And I was like, yeah, it's actually his birthday. And it was my cousin that you met, Jordan.
Right.
And I half expected him to be like, oh my God, no, that's like so dumb. She's kidding. But he was like, yep. And I was like, good job.
Good for you.
Good for you.
I'm going to give you one extra churro.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that we're Mr. Oso.
Oh, no.
So usually these emails from Steve would be to their boss and that they quit. But once he took it in a weird direction, another coworker, let's call her Anna, was the target of one of these pranks. Note here that the word prank will be in finger quotes for the remainder of the story, as this is one of those pranks that can cause harm and isn't actually funny.
Crazy to call it finger quotes, Cedar. I'm not going to lie to you.
Wait, hold on. Wait, you're so right. Because we know them as air quotes.
Air quotes. I love you. I love that. I am going to make that really weird for a lot of people soon, though.
Finger quotes.
Why'd you say that in finger quotes?
Let's do it together.
Yeah.
Hey, do you know what we should do? I did this in college once.
Gaslight
Lydia.
Yeah!
Lydia, it's always been called finger
it's
quotes.
Literally, and we don't even have to tell Jacob.
He'll get it instantly.
He'll just do it, yeah.
We're bad people.
Jacob's so funny that sometimes he'll think you're doing a bit
Correct.
when you're actually just
no,
talking
I'm
to him.
misconfused.
Yeah.
He's so eager.
Yeah.
Anna logged onto her computer one Monday morning to find an email that was typed but not sent.
No.
That described romantic / sexual feelings
Call HR.
towards me.
Oh, call
Anna
HR.
and I were and are married. And then in the second parentheses, 2 other people. And had no history to suggest this was true at any level for either of us.
Yeah.
End of parentheses.
Oh my gosh.
Anna scoffed and closed the email. Then, when Steve came to get a reaction out of his prank, Anna said she didn't know anything about it.
Good for you, Anna.
Lie number, finger quotes, 1.
Oh, we're gonna get so much out of this for Lydia.
This one. We have a couple
This
listeners.
one's just so easy too.
A couple of listeners who were like, no, I want to timestamp when the new verbal ticks drop. Episode 101 or whatever it is.
Yeah, finger quotes.
Finger quotes. I know we do call it listener episodes, but I want to call this episode finger quotes.
I mean, we still can.
Okay.
That's fine.
So lie number 1. She told me about the prank later in the day, and we were both pretty weirded out by it. We discussed reporting it to HR, but we didn't want to be narcs. Eventually, we realized an opportunity was at hand. The conversation went something like this.
Yeah.
Cedar, I just wish we could do something to make him realize that this sort of thing is inappropriate and unwelcome. Anna, what if the email actually sent?
Yeah.
Cedar, what do you mean?
Anna and I are on the same wavelength.
Well, he just typed it and addressed it to you, but he thinks I never saw it. What if we convinced him that you received the highly inappropriate email? Cedar smiles evilly. Cedar, feeling evil, smiles.
Yeah. Cedar, keep the writing up. I love tripping up Grant like this.
I'll edit. I'm actually really happy with that edit. I'm not going to lie. I'm really happy with that edit.
It ended well, but
Thank
I'm
you.
happy to see that they're going to see all of the
Had to find
iterations.
it.
Yeah.
And thus a plan was hatched. Phase 1, a conflict invented. We waited for a moment when Steve came to Anna for help with a task, which was not uncommon.
Yeah.
When he did, Anna asked me a question from across the hall, and I snapped at her and was very curt with, I'm busy. Can't you just figure it out? Lie number 2.
Good.
Anna feigned ignorance because, of course, she never saw the email that totally sent.
Yeah.
With a couple more similar interactions, each loud enough for Steve to hear, the seed was planted that maybe, just maybe, his, finger quotes here, prank had consequences. Phase 2, Steve's help. By Wednesday, Anna had gone to Steve to vent about the conflict we had invented. She didn't know why I was upset or how to address it. Lie number 3.
She?
Anna, didn't know why I, Cedar, was upset or how to address it. Steve didn't outright admit to his actions, but his coy suggestions revealed that he had connected the dots. He very astutely suggested that, quote, finger quotes again, someone could have sent an email from Anna's computer. Hold for shock and disbelief.
Oh my gosh.
At that point, Steve clearly knew his email prank was likely the cause of mine and Anna's conflict. Phase 3, the security camera. Cedar, you wrote the shit out of this. This
Holy
is so well
shit,
done.
Y'all. This is an action movie I am watching in my head right now. And also, this is what happens when people like team up together against someone at work. It's not like you have anything better to do.
This is also, I think you should leave. Like, this is also an episode of that.
Yes. Oh my God.
Friday, phase 3, the security camera. Shortly before taking the afternoon off, Anna chummed the waters. She claimed I had finally revealed the existence of the email. Lie number 4. Yeah. She still feigned having no firsthand knowledge of it, telling Steve that I had finally named the cause of the conflict. Anna, worrying how such an email could affect her ability to work with her colleagues, talked to Steve. Yeah. Wondering who could have done such a thing. She claimed the nearby Wi-Fi router was actually a security camera. It wasn't. Yes! Feeling assured that the camera would have caught the person who used her computer to send that email. Lie number 5.
Oh my gosh.
After she left work for the day, Anna texted Steve saying HR had called her in for a meeting, presumably about creating a hostile work environment. Lie number 6.
Oh, this is
really good.
This is psychological manipulation on the best level.
Now, reader, I can only imagine how Steve experienced this bombshell. There may well have been a cacophony of alarms blaring in his head. Good. Or maybe visions of an imagined HR meeting. Good. Which eventually turned its eyes on him. What I do know is that Steve called Anna at least 6 times that afternoon. Good. All without answer. Good. It was at this point that we exposed a tactic that I'll call "let him stew" in finger quotes. Good. Phase 4, the payoff. After a weekend that must have felt like an eternity for Steve, I returned to work Monday. Yeah. In very short order, Steve found me and asked to speak with me in private. Reader, I am no actor. My spouse will tell you I have a terrible poker face and can laugh out loud at the most minuscule of prompting, especially at my own jokes. Okay, Cedar, I am some combination of you and Anna. Grant, especially when I get a little toasty, Grant's like, I'm not this funny, no, I know. And you have to stop laughing or else I'm not gonna stop. I don't think I get credit for that kind of awareness either. It's like, I love how much you are enjoying this, and I am clocking out loud right now that I'm working with a friendly audience. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. So when poor Steve presented his heartfelt admission and apology, I am proud to say that I have never in my life controlled my face as well as I did in that moment. Although I probably still have a scar on the inside of my cheek from biting it so hard. Oh, yeah. Yeah. When he was done, I thanked him for being honest about this. I'm so sorry. You know that trope in romance novels where it's like, who did this to you? What if that cheek scar was external? You had to be like, no, wait. Anna, what? Maia, what an absolutely out of the blue, in finger quotes, stellar comment to make. Who did this to you? Me. Steve.
trying not to laugh while lying through my teeth to Steve.
That's really good. You should be proud of that.
Thank you. I am.
Third to last sentence.
Okay, good.
When he was done, I thanked him for being honest about this, and we got back to work. This was probably about 8 years ago, and I haven't spoke to Steve in over 5 years.
Nice.
But I would gladly wager that Steve never again used inappropriate emails as a prank against a coworker. I'm a pretty damn honest person, but maybe just this once, a lie paid off. Love the show.
I love that.
Thank you for your weekly information and entertainment, Cedar.
That was beautiful.
It was really well done.
I'm seeing that Mission Impossible script play out as like
100%.
Amy Schumer is definitely one of the characters, you know, like, yeah.
I'm watching it. I'm loving it. Mm-hmm. For some reason, Seth Rogen plays Steve.
Yes. Yes. Obviously. Sweet. Okay. This is from our friend Katelyn. Her first sentence confuses me. Katelyn, I'm going to need you to elaborate. 3 more sentences on this. Long-time caller, first-time listener.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you would say on Delilah when you would call into Delilah.
No, you would say long-time listener, first-time caller, not long-time caller, first-time listener.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah.
You got me and our friend there.
Yeah. Hilarious.
Also, so me. Professional yapper learning to listen.
Yeah. This is actually, this podcast, the first time he's ever had to listen to someone.
Alternative names for While I Laughed is long-time caller, first-time listener.
Yeah. First time listener. That's really funny. It's very subtle, too. Okay. My name is Katelyn, parentheses, you may use. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Katelyn.
Few words as possible. Why use many words when few words do trick? And I use she, her pronouns. I have a great story for you both about my lovely job as a bakery manager at a local grocery store. While I'm not sure if this fits under any topics you guys have covered, I still want to share it because I love a little kiki and I have no friends to share this story with because most of them were literally there.
I'm so excited for this. Working at a grocery store, it's not more ridiculous than working with children on like a day-to-day basis, but the most ridiculous things I've experienced in my life happened during my high school job at a grocery store.
The most ridiculous things I had happen worked while I was working at Gap.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's just service industry
Those
in
retail
general.
jobs, yeah.
But I feel like a grocery store, you really get people that are just like, they're there because they have to be, not because they're
everyone
choosing
goes
to be.
to Gap. Everyone goes to a grocery store.
Yeah. I feel like it's an episode of The Office, you know? So my job description is to go to the other locations of this local grocery store that needs help in the bakery department, parentheses, vacation, injury leaves, etc., and work as the manager at that store for a spotted time. Before that, though, I worked at one store as an assistant. This store was my home base, and I worked under my beautiful manager, Sarah, fake name. Sarah was very attentive and paid attention to people who were suspicious of stealing, something I gave no shits about, but my old store was very prone to people stealing, so we always had security on deck. That's the craziest part about working in the service industry for me, or at least like somewhere that you have to pay for something before you leave,
right? Is
that like in all of, at least my security trainings are like, if you see someone steal, like, don't do anything.
I'll say this. That job at a grocery store did, because it was a discount grocery store too,
right,
did more to educate me, like a young white man growing up in the Midwest, vaguely Christian still at the time, did more to teach me empathy for my fellow man than like a lot of other things did. Because I started off that job at like 15 and a half, maybe 16. And I'm like, no, like you can't just grab an 80-cent donut from the like counter and then just like walk around the store and eat it and then not pay for your 80-cent donut. At the end of the day, that's a crime, right? Like I started off with the like, who's going to stand up for grocery stores?
And the grocery store was like, it's not worth it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, I mean, the grocery store was busy showing us anti-union propaganda to get to the
grocery store was also like, it'll cost us more in workers' comp when you get hurt tackling that person to the ground.
And what I will say is, and this isn't to tokenize anyone's experience, but I worked a series of odd jobs in that grocery store, one of them late night cashier. And when you see people coming into that store working their hardest just to make that day work.
Oh, yeah.
Like it humanizes you. I think you and I both talked a little bit. You can always kind of tell when you meet someone that hasn't worked retail, hasn't had to be at the bottom end of a power structure who hasn't had a chance to like look at someone and understand that like, oh, I'm going home to a much more comfortable position than you are. All of that is to say, we also started to steal donuts from the bakery.
You're like, I mean, if you're not going to care.
like a year in, we got good with a couple of the bakery girls who would close. And the rule was, I mean, they would box up several of them to like sell at like a discount for overnight people, but then they would just throw away the rest. And so as long as we didn't hear the big jangly keys of the overall grocery manager,
nothing mattered.
We could all like basically shotgun a donut in the like refrigerated hallway between bakery and produce. It was a great job.
I love that. I love Casey so much, but he never really worked a service industry job by the time he was like of age.
Right.
His parents were doing well enough, so he didn't really feel the need to. And he did work summer gigs and did learn a lot from those summer gigs. Like sometimes he has stories where I'm like, what are you, fucking Huckleberry Finn? Like he like was a summer camp counselor. Yeah. But he never had to work a summer job or like a service job.
Right.
And sometimes I'm reminded of that when we like will get out of an Uber and he'll be like, I would give them like a 2-star rating. And I was like, why? Like that's so low.
That's so
dramatic.
They execute Lyft drivers who get below a 3.
And I was like, why? And he was like, well, he like did this and this and he like, you know, this wasn't great. And then like all this. And I was like,
Especially when you and I are people are like, yeah, I mean, the waiter literally poured water over my head and called me a slur, but we're all trying to pay rent. So it's 21% tip.
Still give them at minimum 18%.
I remember teaching my brother that. I'm sorry, I cut you off in the middle of the Casey story.
Oh, well, I was like, the minimum I would ever rank someone on one of those service, like the gig jobs is like 4 stars.
Right, exactly.
And then with the full explanation of why I rank them 4 stars.
Right.
You know, I'm not trying to fuck up anybody's life. And also they drove us home at like 10 p.m. in the rain.
I explained that to Griffin once. So I was like, I mean, we're still going to tip 20%, right? Because I mean, whatever. He's like, blah, blah, blah. He was young at the time, not like the grown adult he is now.
Yeah, he's a lot more emotionally mature from what I gather.
But I was like, imagine if on one of your worst days at work, which we all have, you also find out you're getting paid less. Like that's just a really tough intersection to be at. You don't need the money, Griffin. Like,
you always have to be on in a service. Anyway, crazy.
We're
back to the story.
Sorry,
Caitlin. Okay.
You unearthed a lot for Maia and I.
Apparently, Jesus. So she has a manager. Her name was Sarah when she was still working as an assistant, and Sarah was very prone to being suspicious of people that were stealing. Right. Okay. So one day, Sarah noticed a couple walking around shopping. What?
I'm just remembering the title of the email.
I know, I am too. I'm keeping that under wraps.
I'm getting excited.
Yeah, same. Okay. One day, Sarah noticed a couple walking around shopping. They had a shitload of items in their cart to the point where it was almost spilling out. It contained meat products and a lot of liquor, pop, and various snacks. It's classic stuff you see the stealers at our store stealing. I'm oblivious to all of this because whatever is happening is out of my line of work. None of my business. Sarah calls our store director and alerts her. Store director then calls security to watch them. Well, about 30 minutes later, Sarah sees the man who was a part of the couple walk out without the girl and without the cart. Weird. About a minute later, we then see the woman walk out with the overflowing cart, followed by a skinny-ass security guy running after her 15 seconds later. Now at the store, word would get around quick because as me and Sarah are running to the 30-foot wide window to watch this go down. Let me read that again. Now at this store, word gets around quick because as me and Sarah are running to the 30-foot wide window to watch this go down, the majority of the stock guys and other store department managers have come from the back and are walking to the front to watch with us.
So real.
I love that, like, the image that paints, you know, like 100%. All the heads stacked on top of each other looking out the door. The only time
you see produce green apron and butcher white apron
all in the
walking
same spot. Yes. Okay, me and Sarah decide to go outside because the yelling has started.
Good.
Outside, I see another manager, Mary, holding a cell phone, which we find out has been dropped by the bandit when security dude was trying to apprehend her.
Good.
Mary also had the cart of stuff that the couple was trying to steal. Bandit abandoned it to get away to the getaway car. Bandit abandoned it.
Wow.
That's a good tongue twister. The getaway car, which the guy was now in the driver's seat of. At this point, Bandit and security dude are tussling. They're literally on the ground of the parking lot, each trying to get the upper hand. Not to judge, but if my boyfriend was watching me get tackled in the driver's seat and not helping me, I would break up with him because
Caitlin,
seriously, what the fuck?
We were right there with you. I was having the exact
We were all like,
same
why
thought.
is he in the car still? Go help your girl.
It's like not supposed to be a one-on-one fight.
No! Security dude is skinty.
Right.
Are you Tyler? Because he's the only other person I know that says skinty. Okay. Security dude is skinty. Bandit is 5'10" with some muscle. It really looked like she could bench me, and I'm surprised she struggled a lot. Now, there is a poor cart guy, Ron, who's watching all of this. Oh,
that was my job.
I'm not sure what he has, even though I have a family member with the same disability, but he has a regressed mental state where he has the brain of a 7 to 8-year-old. He's about 60-ish and the sweetest guy, so I genuinely felt bad for him because he was so confused by all of this. Security dude starts screaming to call 911, and Ron misheard the number and starts running up and down the parking lot aisle, repeating, "Somebody call 119! Somebody call 119!" Several people are calling the police at this point, and I'm just listening to Ron scream this as I'm watching security dude get his ass handed to him.
Oh, yep. Okay, so she is starting to get the upper hand.
Yeah.
He's like, call 911, not for them, for me.
Yeah,
I'm about
I'm
to be
scared.
physically hurt right now.
Ron then runs to all of the workers that are outside watching this, and Mary guides him back inside to calm him down. Good. Now I see guy coming out of nowhere. Bandit's boyfriend? Well, no, it's a bystander. A bystander that grabs the security guard and throws him hard onto the ground near the bandit. And since she's free, she runs into the car and the guy drives off. Security guy screams, "She was stealing!" at the bystander. To which he responds, "I don't care. You don't touch a lady like that."
What?
Slay. Is Caitlyn's next?
Slay.
Slay.
No, that's not right. Because that's not feminist. That's like weirdly toxically masculine machismo. She was stealing. You don't touch a lady like
It's
she's
like
a thief.
misandry or something. I love Caitlyn.
Slay.
I'm with you, Caitlyn. I'm with you. Everyone heads back in. The fun is over. They total all of the products that they were stealing was like, you want to guess?
It was me and liquor. Those are big ticket items. I'm gonna guess $600.
Oh my God, $670. That was good.
I really could do pretty well on Prices Right, I think.
You and Casey both, honestly. He's really good at guessing the cost of houses.
And that's the thing, because I know I look superfluous. I look extravagant at times. I look like I love luxury and ease.
You just spend your money wisely.
I have a very critical eye for a budget.
Yeah, he did judge me and Lydia for not doing laundry as often as him, and then I had to gently explain to him that we have more clothes.
Right. And I was like, why would you spend money on clothes? I have things to cover my body right now.
Okay. Men's style hasn't changed in like a decade. Whatever. Anyway, $670, which is a felony in my state.
Yeah.
They also stole some bakery items. Rude. Police come in and blah, blah, blah. Cop shit. Boring. Moral of the story.
Not Caitlin skipping over the entire true crime portion. Slay.
Blue. Yeah.
And that's a slay in finger quotes.
Yeah. Slay. Yeah. Moral of the story is that be like that bystander and support women's rights and their wrongs. Women can be war criminals too.
It's one thing to be like, I'm not going to get involved with a theft that doesn't involve me. And there's another thing that says, I'm going to get involved in a theft that doesn't involve me for misandry. Yeah.
Don't touch a lady like that.
She's stealing.
Honestly, I don't know whose side I would be on in that moment. I don't know. I don't know.
That's how Patty Hearst got away the first time.
I hate corporations.
She's stealing. She's a lady.
Yeah. And a pretty one.
Exactly.
Okay. Support women's rights and wrongs. JK, honestly, I couldn't care less who won that battle. This place doesn't pay me shit to care enough. The best part was me and Sarah, parentheses, who worked the same shift time, were clocking out soon. So I went home about 10 minutes later after that fiasco. But best believe we were having a kiki on FaceTime later that night about what transpired in that parking lot. Love you, Grant and Maia. Come on, man. Come on, you got to ruin the whole vibe. I trusted you, Caitlin.
Slay.
And then puts the man's name first. It's fine. Okay. And Maia, teehee, fight monkeys, fight. That's what she said in parentheses.
So she knows what she's doing.
Yeah, she knows exactly what she's doing. Thank you for being my little friends in my ear when I worked 10 days straight at my finger quotes, I'm beautiful bakery shop alone in one of the busiest chains we have during the Christmas week. Oof. Bless y'all's soul, because I almost didn't survive those shifts, and you made me feel a tiny bit sane putting out those damn cookies and pumpkin pies.
That was fantastic.
That was incredible.
Sometimes we get a story and we're like, oh, that's a fun one to end on.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get a story and you're like, this is a fun one to end on.
That was a good one.
Well
that
done.
was incredible. And we are at like 2 hours. So
amazing.
Good.
Well, friends, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Next theme is identity thief.
Identity theft.
Yep.
And Grant.
I'm like a day away.
Okay.
I don't want to tell them and then like not have that actually be it.
Can you tell me though?
No. That I give as soon as I can tell you, I can tell them.
Oh my God. I just want to know so I can plan. I have so many ideas.
Okay, I have one idea.
Okay.
I have one idea.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just gonna commit. I'm gonna lock in.
Okay.
Bump in the night.
Bump in the night.
Mm-hmm. So if you have any stories about that, bump in the night, you are welcome to write in.
I'm gonna put that in our little business text chain so that I remember it when I go to updates.
As she does that, if you would like to join us on social media, we'd love to find you there. We are Well I Laughed on basically all platforms. If you want to watch the video version of today's show, you can find us on YouTube, where we are Well I Laughed Podcast. If you would like additional content, you can find us on Patreon, where we're Well I Laughed. And if you would like to write in yourself, you can either write into our email directly, wellilaughtedpod@gmail.com, or submit your story via our website, wellilaughed.com.
Hell yeah, brother.
And then lastly, we are going to keep upping this ante until someone does. If you would like to send an ominous threat to a person, you can find us on Cameo.
Or not, but also I do want to send an ominous threat to someone. I want to read it like it's been printed in cut out magazine letters,
absolutely.
you know?
I'm holding a magazine behind you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sorry, or a newspaper to prove the date.
I also want to do like 8.5 by 11 sheets of printer paper printed out to make like a flag or something behind us, like Michael Scott in The Office.
We just want an excuse to do crafts.
Yeah, but I want it to be like obviously just like whoa, this is what we had on hand kind of crafts, you know? Yeah.
And if we do it, I'm sure you'll hear about here on the main episode.
Yeah.
Because I laughed.
I did too.
We haven't done that in a while. That was fun. Bye.
Okay, bye. I love you.